Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to Karma Broadcast on the sofa with Esther. Well, I'm still in sunny Barbados, as you can note from the tan. That's why I wore white today, because in London it's pretty cold, so I'm getting as much sun as I can. And on the sofa with me today is James Dickson, the Polo manager of Apes Polo Club in Barbados. And I met James last year when I came to the night polo, and so we're just going to talk about the role that he plays, and also he gave me the amazing opportunity to spend time with the horses, because I love horses, and I spent time with them twice last year, and it was for me a really amazing experience, because as you know, I'm an animal communicator and healer. And so also it would be nice to talk to James about his interaction with the horses, because for me, you know, I read energy, but James's energy is very grounded, very peaceful, and that makes a great space to be for the horses to be around. So welcome, James.
Thank you, Esther. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So James, I asked everybody this question. I know it's quite boring, but I said, who is James in a nutshell, a nutmeg shell, or a coconut shell?
How many words?
It depends which shell you fit into.
Happy-go-lucky. I'm content.
I can feel that.
I'm very blessed.
Brilliant.
And I'm grateful to be living in Barbados and working with animals that I've loved since childhood. And being in a job which has become a way of life, really, for me. And living on a beautiful island and interacting with the animals first and foremost, because they are an integral part of our organisation. Without the horses, we wouldn't have any polo here. And the offset of that is having guests that come to visit us, and they can enjoy animals as well.
Such as me?
Yes. And organising tournaments for the players. It's just lovely being in an island and having this opportunity, really, to do something that I really love.
And how did you initially start working with horses? Because, you know, it's interesting when I tell people that I do animal communication, there's a lot of people are still of this notion that do animals or do horses have feelings?
Yes.
So how did you get into working with horses?
I actually was brought up around horses from earliest memories. My father played polo in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East.
Oh, I lived there.
Wow. Small world.
I lived there 5 years ago. No, it's about, oh gosh, showing my age now. It was about 20 years ago. I lived in Abu Dhabi for 5 years.
Oh,
wow.
And I was brought up around horses. From my earliest memories, there was horses around me. And then in the summers, my father played polo in West Sussex at Cowdray. So I was fortunate, again, to be able to spend every part of my holidays at the stables. And I pretty much immersed myself in the animals. They were my first love. And then the natural follow-on from that was I got involved in the sport and started to play. And I continued to play during my school holidays. And my father was in the military.
Okay.
And he ran the household like it was an army. He was very disciplined. And he liked to control every aspect of the household, and he wanted me to become an officer in the British Army, which I didn't want to. My instinct was to be with polo, with the animals that I really loved to be with. And we didn't meet eye to eye on that, unfortunately. But I ended up making polo a career from probably around 20 to 21 years old. Yeah, I left school at 18, and I pretty much was able to focus on polo as a profession fully when I was 21 to 22.
Brilliant. And for you to immerse yourself within an animal's world, what was that like for you? What did it do for you in terms of your life, because it's about emotional stuff, it was about the physical stuff, but so on a bigger scale, what did it do for you growing up?
The horses were my comfort, really. I loved spending time with them, interacting with them, talking to them as a child. In England in the summertime, the days are very long, as you know, and I used to pretty much spend all day with the animals and didn't really come home for lunch. Dinner was always late, yeah. They were my go-to, really. And they were a huge support for me growing up. I found a passion in them, and polo, obviously, animals are first and foremost there for us to enjoy in the sport of polo. I just love being around them.
And you obviously, from the sounds of it, James, you developed, yes, there was a love for the horses, there was a love for polo, but you obviously developed a really strong rapport, because I like the way when you said they were your go-to. And in that space of going to, what was that doing for you as a young boy? Because maybe you were searching for something, maybe you were seeking solace in something, but what is it about horses? Because I know you're an animal lover generally, but what is it about the horses for you, James?
It's just basically finding that connect emotionally. Polo is a sport which is affluent, obviously, and what I've tried to impact here is to have that bond between the players and the animals, and I always had that from early on, and I always viewed them as living beings rather than a tool to have fun on, because a lot of the players, I'm not focusing on Barbados per se, but I think a lot of the players worldwide, especially at the professional level, don't treat them as that.
Yes.
They're obviously in a professional sport, you have to fine-tune animals, and they are your source of income. It's very important for me here now, and the advantage of living in Barbados is that I'm not sort of fully immersed in a hugely professional way whereby I don't have to have them to use as my living.
Okay.
The animals are all owned by a family, and there's not so much pressure to have that channel as they just use as tools to make money. It's not that way here. So it's actually really nice to come here and have that interaction with them as for what they really are, and try to keep focused on that. Cause it's easy to get on them and have fun and you win or lose and celebrate and commiserate, and you lose. Some people lose sight of the fact that animals do have feelings and have emotions, and some get sick and some are tired.
Yes.
You need to read that. You haven't got that sort of verbal communication with them, and you need to have that connect whereby you need to try and gauge their personalities.
They do have personalities, peeps. Sorry.
They do. And some are quiet and some are energetic and some have highs and some have lows. And it's important that you, initially when they first come to me, you gauge their emotions. And you try and work out where
they
are. Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, because I remember mentioning to someone last year that I'm working with animals. I do animal healing and communication, and a couple of people actually burst out laughing to say, do horses have emotions? And I was a bit stumped. It's almost like they're a living being. They may not be able to verbally communicate the way we do, but they can communicate, and surely they can feel. Because if I kick an animal, they're going to hurt, and I feel, in terms of where you're coming from, like you said about your childhood, in terms of spending so much time with the horses, do you feel that because you had that chance to spend time with them in your formative years, that's why you're in a place where you're able to read them, where you're able to feel into them more so than a lot of other people. Or maybe that's just part of who you are as well. Is that making sense?
That makes sense. I think they're both really. I mean, looking back now, in hindsight, spending all those weeks and months and years as a child growing up with them, I think I took it for granted.
Okay.
As a child growing up, you have all these animals around you, you know. Looking back now, I can honestly say that without those animals as part of my life, I think my outlook on life would be quite different today.
Yes.
And that's quite a big call. And that's, but looking back now, I think yes, because they are such amazing animals. Horses, particularly, I think people don't give enough credit. People say horses are stupid, horses are this and horses are that, and they say they're having no feelings. I think it's actually the opposite.
And it's interesting you say that because I think about 20 years ago, when I was working, I remember this lady came into work and her cat had died and she was really distressed. And I must admit, at the time I couldn't get it. I was just thinking, it's a cat. And she was really beside herself. But now that as I've grown older and hopefully wiser, and also my interaction with animals, I realise how valuable they are because I've got a dog. And if anybody troubles that dog, I won't be so spiritual or philosophical about it. Because, you know, like I said, I've developed a rapport with that animal, and also just being in the presence of the dog, and also being in the presence of a lot of the horses that I've had the privilege to be around. There's an energy that you just feel between them, and like you said, you feel the animal's energy, you feel their characters, and with that then you're able to go in and deal with them on the level and where they're at. And what's really nice about how you operate with the animals is you understand from the basis of being a polo rider, but then you also understand about from the basis of being an animal lover.
Yes.
And so you can bring the two together and bring that balance.
Yes.
And I'm sure then you get the best and the most out of your animal as a polo rider.
Correct.
So then it's this whole sort of 360-degree thing that's working, rather than just seeing things half-mast.
Correct. I agree. My first role as manager at this club is the welfare of the animals. That I care for them. And if I can do that to the best of my ability, with the support structure which I'm very lucky to have around me from the Williams family, I can do that. And they always get what they need.
That's
as
good.
far as any rehabilitation, any injuries, any therapy, the vet's called out when it's needed. And from there I think I can form from that source. The animals then flourish.
Yes.
They enjoy playing. They get the recovery in the paddock. I think that's a crucial part of their winter season, their training. They do get out into the paddock and be horses.
Okay.
People lose sight of the fact that being enclosed in a stable, in a pen, is not a natural habitat for an animal.
Yes.
Or for a horse rather. And I think it's so lovely when you actually can turn them out the day after they played a hard match, the next day, and you can see them with the tails up, ears spread, running around.
Like kids.
That's my gift.
Yeah. And there's that freedom, say, I'm free.
Yeah.
You know, I went to Ecuador last year and lots of horses were tethered on this short tether, and they were like that all day. And you could just feel the distress in the animals, you could see the sadness in their eyes.
Correct.
And that's why sometimes I had to walk away, because it's not for me to go in there and dictate anything. But what you do, you remind me of the gentleman that I trained with, James French, who's very much comes from your sort of line of thought about nurturing the animal. Because I say to people, it's just like having a child. An animal's no different from having a child. You give it that nurturing, that sort of discipline, that balance, and they will be the best they can for you. And also what I feel from you, James, is this this sense of peace. It's really grounding. So I was like, yeah, I just want to lay back into the sofa and do this interview because it's very grounding. And obviously the horses will feel that as well. And that in itself is incredibly important, poignant, and nurturing because horses very much feed off our energy.
Yes, yes. The sort of day-to-day running is that the horses obviously have to be exercised in the morning and in the evening, or they play in the evening. But obviously, they feed the nutrients, the vitamins they need to keep them healthy. The bedding, what they sleep on, the grass. I'm very lucky again with the Williams family because Charles owns farms and he has grass cut and that's brought for the horses every 2 days, and they eat fresh grass. They have access to water whenever they want to, and I manage their workloads respectively according to their age as well, especially with the school. We are very busy in the winter season with the guests, and also we have young horses as well. So we have a mixture. We have young horses that start with us in the winter season at 5 years old, and we have the older horses that are up to 18, 19, which obviously I have to manage their workloads too.
Okay.
But it's a broad spectrum. It can be challenging at times to try and make sure that all their needs are taken care of, but I do put that first and foremost.
Brilliant.
And also with regards to the players and the horse owners, respectively, because we have people that own their horses that they keep with us in livery. I think the message, that across to them that it's not always great to ride your horses every day. They do need a break. They have feelings, as you say.
Yes.
They have to get out.
And play.
Yeah, exactly. They have freedom to express themselves as they are as animals.
Brilliant. Loving this. Well, that's great because, I said to someone one day, how would you like if I put you on a tether and pinned you in your room for 24 hours? That's just me sometimes. I have to learn to do this.
Yeah.
But later, you're playing in a polo match later, James.
I am, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it's like now on the other side of the coin to do polo? Because you're coming at it from a slightly different angle, even though you still hold that regard and that respect for the horses.
Yes.
But what is it like being up there on a horse and just doing your thing? And what's the thing that you use? The hockey stick?
Mallet.
Yeah, sorry.
Or a stick. They call it a stick in the UK and a mallet in the States.
Okay, I'm learning.
That's okay.
So what's it like?
It's actually really hard for me to play against other players from the same club stable.
Okay.
Or animals that I manage competing against them. And polo is a physical sport, as we know.
Yes.
And animals do get injured, and players do get injured. The upside of being at Apes Hill, again, is every player has spare horses.
Okay.
So there are always an extra horse as a go-to, so horses don't get overly abused at Apes Hill.
Okay.
With the volume of horses we have, every player has 5 to 6 horses for a 4-chucker match.
Okay.
So again, horses don't necessarily have to play like intense 7 minutes. They always have that spare horse.
Okay.
So again, their workload is actually balanced as well, so they don't get overused. And over the years, that's proven to be a very, very good benchmark to work towards, because Sir Charles does not like, or his ruling is directly that no horse is double chuckered, which is actually within the rules. So a horse just plays 1 chucker.
Okay.
And
a chucker is a game that lasts 7 minutes?
7 minutes, it's very intense though.
Okay.
Horses have to run, stop, turn, a lot of cardiovascular work, heart, lung.
A lot of people can do with that, can't they?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The players especially, that ride the horses. Shouldn't say that words. Anywhere between beginners that want to learn, that have started to play, that want to increase their level, and they have intensive being there out in the morning and evening at the school, every day. And obviously they have the beaches, the shopping, the restaurants just down the road, which is obviously quite nice for them too. And we also have people that do play elsewhere in their respective home clubs abroad that want to come in the winter season when it's their off season.
Right,
to keep their skills up, to have lessons and to keep playing, keep themselves fit.
Okay.
And we are offering Apes as an alternative winter destination to compete alongside Dubai, Florida, Argentina. And I think we at Apes, obviously with Barbados, have a lot more to offer.
Yeah.
Not being biased. We have the beaches, scuba diving, golf, tennis.
Oh, show off.
Restaurants just down the hill. And it's more relaxed here, and it's friendly, and it's fun. And in Argentina, not putting that down, it's very geared towards going to a farm, staying on a farm, and it's just polo all day, every day, and you sleep, eat, and breathe it. And if you want to go shopping, it's an hour away to Buenos Aires.
Okay.
You have to live on the farm, and there's not a lot else to do apart from being on that farm here. There's so much to see and do on this small island.
Okay. Yes.
Even though it's small, there's a lot to do.
I said that to Mike this morning because I said I've been here several times, and I keep getting told, "Have you been here? Have you been here?" And I said, "I'm doing a lot because, as you know, my days are packed, and I still haven't seen, I feel, half the island." So that's brilliant because what you're offering then is it's almost like a 360 sort of take on everything. Brilliant. I'll have to sort of sign up to try that out with my granddaughter.
Definitely.
And James, if I may, if I may go there, as part of my animal communication training, I had to find some guinea pigs. No, I had to find some horses, but I had to find some case studies, right? And James kindly offered his time, and I sort of tuned into a horse that he submitted for me to work with. And with animal communication, it's basically communicating with the animal intuitively to see how the horse is feeling, and then I interpret that to the owner. And it's very much about building bridges and building trust between the owner and the horse. And it gives both an insight into how each other are feeling, how the owner's feeling, how the horse is feeling, and then to see what can be done to bring the relationship tighter, better. And so I had a really amazing tune in with James and his horse Flash. I just went to see Flash just now. So James, if you may, and I'm not flogging my ways, but I just feel it's so important for you to understand the work that I do and also where James is coming from as well. So how did you experience the animal communication session with me? And also Flash, how did that impact your lives, if I may ask that question?
It was profound. It was emphatic, it was enlightening. It was very emotional actually, because having immersed myself with horses from early on up until this day, and having that true, and I'm going to use the word true, connect, almost a verbal communication, but it's coming through emotionally. It was so enlightening, and I would like to use the word enlightening because it truly was for me as a person that has that day-to-day interaction, to suddenly have all those feelings and what you're describing on the, when we had that on that session of the case study. Finally, I can actually have that real connect and really feeling how Flash was and how he
Flash is the horse, by the way.
Yeah. And how Flash was feeling. And I have to say that through that session, that case study with you and your suggestions, which are all very positive, I have followed your suggestions, and I think Flash this season is, condition-wise, is looking remarkably better.
Wow.
And I think he's looking better. I think he feels better inside because of the environment that he's now in. So obviously organised through animal interaction.
Brilliant.
Very
Thank
relaxed.
you. Thank you. It's always nice for me. This is not, what I do is not about me. It's just about doing what I love that can transform and empower animals and people's lives. So, your feedback is very, very important for that process. And James, in winding down, what is it you would like to leave or share with people who are listening to this interview about animals? Because they've been such an integral part of your life, and I get a sense at one point they were the only part of your life. So what is it that you can share about that journey, about that experience, that out of everything that you've experienced, what having that connection with horses, and you said you've got dogs, what it really means to you as a person and part of your growth?
If you're looking for an avenue to find yourself spiritually, for me, what I've experienced is that animals will find you and take you to a place that a part of your life could be missing. I think that if you really want to have inner peace, true friendship, a source of peace, of just that spiritual uplifting, that feeling that everything's going to be alright. Animals like us, we have the interaction on a day-to-day, whether they're cats or dogs or horses or any animal, we have to respect them.
Yes.
You have to look after them. And I think for me, what I found in life is that, especially now that I'm older,
hopefully once it.
I do so. There's always room for learning.
There is.
I learn every day with animals. I'm always learning with animals and horses. I think, they are a source where I can draw from, have that spiritual good feeling, emotional balance, that peace. It's very easy to get caught up, speaking for myself, caught up in a world which is based on materialistic aspects, and people lose sight of the world has other gifts that we can take for granted. I think animals are. And for me, I think to get up in the morning and walk out of my cottage and go down to a stable which has 108 horses and go to a paddock that has 30 more youngsters.
Show off.
and really immersing myself in their lives.
Wow.
And the impact of being a part of their lives is that my life becomes better.
Yes.
So not focusing on me, but focusing on them. And any negativity that I have, any impressions that I have, by focusing myself on them. And especially walking through a paddock with young horses on my own, at peace, with the phone in the Jeep, that's living. That's beauty. And it's a gift. But I'm blessed to have. I can see that now.
For me, it'd be great just to walk out of my back door and see one horse. What you've got.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, because I think that really winds down this interview really nicely. And one key thing you said about sometimes pulling away from the materialistic things, because what we carry, what we have on the external, what we are on the external, oftentimes it means nothing. You can be made up with your nails and your hair and the pretty frock, but underneath, how are you really feeling? What is it that feeds your soul? And sometimes when you take all that stuff off, sorry, pulling the weave off or whatever, but when you put all that down, who are you underneath it all? How do you want to feel? How do you want to experience life? And so what Jamie's just described is that feeling of connecting with God, the universe, whatever you call it, through these animals, because horses are very sentient beings, they're very spiritual beings, and they just give you something, even dogs, cats, even a budgie. So ladies and gentlemen, this is Esther Austin on the Sofa with Esther, talking to the amazing James Dickson at Apes Hill Polo Club, obviously in sunny Barbados. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Inviting me, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.